to Black Lives Matter or any other group. I wanted to quickly mention that, okay? Because there are certain pundits that are booked on cable news shows because they say outrageous things and it increases ratings and it gets eyeballs to watch their shitty programs, okay? And then there are the police and the investigators who are actually dealing with the facts and the situation. So far, there is no indication that these people are part of any type of political organization, any type of group of people who are protesting. So far, nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. Anyone who claims that it does, they're doing it either for attention, for a political agenda, or to smear a group of people who have legitimate concerns about the way policing happens in this country.
In being an anti-government right-wing protester, it's weird that they didn't mention that, right? That he was most concerned about gun control laws and about Benghazi. And that's why he decided to strike out against the government, and his wife helped him to do that, and that's why they executed those 2 cops. Have there been nonstop coverage since, though, right? I mean, these 2 guys assassinated cops, and it's part of a culture, right? The right-wing culture of hate against police officers. It's weird. When they do it, it's just lone gunmen who are crazy. In other circumstances, we're told that it's part of a movement, and that...
And so the people, by the way, who, when spreading this initially, immediately inject that into it, including Glenn Beck and a bunch of other sick individuals, they are showing that at the end of the day, they don't care at all about this guy. They have no empathy for that victim. He is a pawn for them to attack a political organization that they want to attack.
And another is wounded. And Curtis Wade Hawley, who did that. It holds anti-government political beliefs, previously made threats against the police, and carried them out.
Breaking news, a fresh act of madness in America. At least 2 snipers opening fire in downtown Dallas during a rally against the fatal police shootings of black men in Louisiana and in Minnesota in recent days. The snipers hit 11 police officers, at least 5 of whom are now dead, making it the deadliest day in law enforcement since September 11th.
Okay? So yes, there is a concerted effort to kill cops across this country, and it is part of an actual movement.
Panic and chaos in the streets of downtown Dallas tonight as gunshots ring out. In the crosshairs, police officers. What started as a peaceful protest in response to the recent deaths of black men at the hands of police in Louisiana and Minnesota interrupt.
It isn't by people who are protesting violence. It isn't done by people who are worried about police violence against any community. It's people who believe, well, I don't like the government. I hold anti-government views. I don't like what the government did in Benghazi. What does that have to do with anything? Gee, I wonder why they got that talking point.
They are showing that at the end of the day, they don't care at all about this guy. They have no empathy for that victim. He is a pawn for them to attack a political organization that they want to attack.
Did by a hail of gunfire.
No! Get back! Get back!
Police say 11 officers were hit and 1 civilian. 5 of the officers are dead.
And I'm going to go and ambush and assassinate cops. Yet no connection is ever made between any of those people. They're all lone deranged gunmen. But once we have
something fucked up when black on white crime gives you an orgasm. These people, this is the best day of the year for them. For some people, for some sick individuals, when they see a particular type of crime, they think, oh good, I can now attack a group that is in no way implicated in this crime.
And it was done by a guy named Dylan Storm Root. He appears to be some sort of right-wing racist that targeted black people in this country, and it's because apparently they were taking over the country. Where might he have heard that black people are taking over the country?
Tomorrow they will have forgotten about this individual because for them it is about a political objective and not true empathy for a guy who went through something that no one should ever experience.
The local sheriff there, Charleston Police Chief Greg Mullen, says, I do believe this is a hate crime. It will be investigated as a hate crime. Seems fairly obvious, but not if you turn on Fox News.
They're doing it either for attention, for a political agenda, or to smear a group of people who have legitimate concerns.
And goes around making racist jokes and talking about a Southern pride. What do you think he meant by Southern pride? He loves grits? Some people do. Some people have Southern pride. They love the grits. They love the other parts of the South. I've been all over the South. There's a lot I love about the South. But I don't go around wearing Confederate flags going, Southern pride, remember the good old days. Yeah, let's make some racist jokes.
That a defenseless person was victimized and there should be justice for him. And luckily, these 4 people were arrested and there will be justice. That's the story.
Yeah.
Unless there is some evidence indicating that these people have anything to do with Black Lives Matter, that is not part of the discussion.
Exactly.
Now, my reaction to it is several-fold. Outraged by it. There's a lot of mentally ill people in the country, but we give everybody a gun in the country. Everybody have at it. He was given a gun as a birthday present. That worked out well.
For political agenda.
If you think somebody might be mentally disturbed, don't give them a gun. If you think somebody might be part of a hate group, don't give them a gun. Don't give them a gun. Okay. So,
say their battle that they wanted to wage was, this was an Islamic terrorist, not a right-wing terrorist. I got news for you. He didn't shoot up a gay club because he was so pro-environment or so pro-animal rights. He cared about the rights of chimpanzees. He's a fucking right-winger, motivated by hatred, as a lot of other extremist right-wingers are. He just also happens to be Muslim. He's a fucking right-winger.
No, don't jump to conclusions. What are we jumping to conclusions for? Let's find out about Dylan Roof here. By the way, no, you know what? Here, I'll give you more conservatives. It's not just Fox, it's not just this idiot E.W. Jackson. Let's go to Lindsey Graham. He was on The View. Listen to him.
But one thing it's not, let's talk about what it's not in my view. It's not a wind into the soul of South Carolina. No. It's not who we are, it's not who our country is, it's about this guy. And this guy's got tons of problems, and to kill people in a church after sitting there with them for an hour tells you how whacked out this kid is. You know, I can't explain this. I don't know what would make a young man at 21 get so sick and twisted to kill 9 people in a church. This is beyond my understanding.
Do you think that it's a hate crime? Do you feel like it's a hate crime, or do you think it's more mentally disturbed?
Probably both. One probably precludes the other. There are real people out there who are organized to kill people in religion and based on race. This guy's just whacked out.
Oh, this guy's just whacked out. You know, it's a lone wolf. There are people organized who try to kill people. There's more right-wing terrorism in this country than there is, for example, Muslim terrorism. Lindsey Graham doesn't talk much about that. The only people who are organized, of course, are Muslims. When a right-winger does it, no, it's unorganized. He's a lone wolf.
If you really genuinely care about justice, then you would focus on what the facts are. And in this case, the facts are that, again, a defenseless person was victimized, and we need to make sure that we carry out justice so stuff like this doesn't continue to happen. By the way, it's happened in Chicago, where crime is insane right now. That's another problem. So let's shift our focus on dealing with crime in Chicago as opposed to smearing people based on absolutely no evidence whatsoever. It's right-wing terrorism is a serious problem. And look,
it was a Muslim who did that shooting, and then ISIS put out a statement like that. What would happen? Everybody was coordinated, obviously. See, it's ISIS. It's these guys. They're all doing it together. They all work together. It's all part of an international thing. Now, all these different racist groups, they attack, kill. And other guys laugh about it. They go and insult the dead, and they do it, so brazenly. No, it's lone wolf.
You know, I'm just reminded of all the Mike Huckabee and every other right-winger standing on stage with Kim Davis at a rally for gay hate.
Yeah.
And so that's okay to have a rally for gay hate repeatedly, right? When someone's denying gays their rights, their constitutional rights, you guys rally around denying them. And so, but this guy's just this guy must be a maniac, right? But it's okay to hate them, and they're not fully citizens, and they don't deserve the rights, and God's going to punish them. Again, and then Donald Trump, by the way, is revealing the hypocrisy and the moral bankruptcy of that movement, the right-winger movement, because they don't give a shit about morality. They don't give a shit about the Bible. They don't give a shit about anything if they can have power.
Human lives. Let's just keep it.
For some sick individuals, when they see a particular type of crime, they think, oh good, I can now attack a group that is in no way implicated in this crime.
So let's talk about the hate groups in South Carolina. They only have 2 factions of the Ku Klux Klan, 4 white nationalist groups, 6 neo-Confederate groups, 2 branches of the League of the South, and the Council of Conservative Citizens. But nothing to do with the soul of South Carolina. South Carolina's state flag has the Confederate flag within it. The Confederate flag is still flying, I should say, in the state capital of South Carolina. Still flying, the Confederate flag. Okay. But no, it has nothing to do with South Carolina. It has nothing to do with race, right? Why are they so defensive? Because they know it has to do with race. They know that this is part of the culture that has done this. You don't think there's been black church bombings before? You don't think there's been attacks on black churches before? This country has an enormous history of attacking black people in their churches. I'll get to that in a second.
And so when they make that case that Black Lives Matter is violent, what example do they give? They give the same example that they have for a long time, the fry 'em like bacon thing about the cops.
One chant.
The chant. You know when that happened? That happened 18 months ago. Not only is Black Lives Matter not a violent organization, that's how goddamn non-violent it is, that even asshole racists who are trying to smear it have to go 18 months back to a couple of people.
So, Vox had a great explanation of this. They say attacks on black churches have been historically deployed by white supremacists to terrorize black communities and impose racist laws and policies on African Americans. These types of attacks, not just on churches, but on homes as well, were so common in Birmingham, Alabama during the 1950s and 60s that the city received the nickname Bombing.
Even asshole racists who are trying to smear it have to go 18 months back to a couple of people involved in one parade.
You can have our president-elect go up there, say on the podium during the election that he wants to punch people in the face, right? Advocating or inciting violence. But that's okay. That's totally fine. And then you have some random individuals out there chanting fry 'em like bacon, and that's it. They have now painted a picture for an entire movement in the country, to the point where something like this happens, and that's it. It's immediately tied to that organization. And look, the amazing part about all of this is the very clear double standard, right? And then you have some random individuals out there chanting fry 'em like bacon, but that's okay. That's totally fine. You can have our president-elect go up there, say on the podium during the election that he wants to punch people in the face, right? And that's it. They have now painted a picture for an entire movement in the country, to the point where something like this happens, and that's it. It's immediately tied to that organization. So the very clear double standard, right?
Insane person had in their mind about how they're taking over the country. Yeah, I've heard that in places. Yes, it was right-wing places. Yes, it was conservative places. That's why the Fox News and the Republicans today are so defensive. No. It wasn't probably not race. It was probably religious. It was probably something else. Look away, look away, look away. Well, we're not looking away. It is the reality, and that is why it happened.